and on the go. This is Valley News Live at 10.
Yeah, it's a blessing that she's alive. This could have been much worse.
The family of a Fargo woman thrown from her car during a rollover accident this week say they're counting their blessings that she's still alive. She's currently in stable condition at a Fargo hospital. Valley News Team's Joshua Piguero talked with this woman's family in an exclusive interview, and he joins us live in South Fargo where she's getting treated. Joshua?
Melanie, she's in the intensive care unit at the Sanford Hospital right behind me. Troopers say she wasn't wearing a seatbelt, and although you're required to wear one by law, her mom says the fact she didn't have one on saved her life.
It's amazing that she's even with us.
Katrina Cheon was ejected from the SUV she was driving. The accident temporarily impacted traffic Wednesday on I-94 near the Mapleton exit.
The wreckage from the truck that she was driving, her SUV, I don't know how she survived. The good Lord had his hands on her. That's all I can say, because that truck was a mess. Sorry.
Her vehicle rolled over multiple times after she overcorrected and lost control. Cheon's 7-year-old daughter, Elizabeth, was riding in the vehicle. Do you have any pain or anything?
Just bumps and bruises.
Just bumps and bruises.
But the same can't be said for Cheon.
She's considered a stable trauma. She's got several breaks, pelvis, back, and her leg. But they're keeping her sedated, just kind of giving her body a chance to recoup a little bit.
Her mom says the 26-year-old's road to recovery is a long one, yet the family is blessed she came out of the wreck still living.
The doctors in the ER said that if she hadn't been thrown from the vehicle, it would have crushed where she was sitting.
And Thomas tells us after her daughter leaves ICU, she'll have months of physical therapy. In the meantime, the family has set up a GoFundMe page to help offset the costs, with Cheon being out of work for an extended period of time. Reporting live in Fargo, Joshua Piguero, Valley News Live.
Joshua, thank you for that live report. And for those wanting to help, we have a link to that GoFundMe page on our website, valleynewslive.com. A crash in Hubbard County this morning between a car and a tractor has left an 18-year-old dead. It happened near an intersection south of Akeley around 11. Officials say a Chevy heading eastbound went over a hill and collided with a farm tractor heading the opposite way. That's when the car went into a ditch and rolled over. Officials say there was 3 people in the car. Nevis woman Annika Elizabeth Davis was killed in the crash. Troopers say she was not wearing a seatbelt. The tractor was driven by a 55-year-old man. He was not injured. An undercover human trafficking operation in the Twin Cities area led to the arrest of nearly a dozen people and the recovery of a handful of victims. 3 people were arrested for sex trafficking and promotion of prostitution. 8 were arrested for solicitation of a minor. 18 trafficking victims were recovered and offered victim services. North Dakota regulators are raising questions about a plea deal a grain trader reached with federal prosecutors. Prosecutors allege 22-year-old Hunter Hansen was running his grain business like a Ponzi scheme. Hansen plans to plead guilty to money laundering and wire fraud charges. The deal calls for him to forfeit his assets and pay $11.4 million in restitution to creditors. Officials say they don't know how much money Hansen will ultimately pay back. They say it's hard to imagine he has millions of dollars. Hansen's attorney did not immediately respond to an email on Thursday. Police are trying to tackle the rash of garage break-ins that seem to pop up in the summer months, and they're suggesting a simple change that could make a big difference. Valley News Team's Courtney Lockie has a few tips on how you can help prevent break-ins and the changes some apartment complexes are making in order to keep your garage untouched.
If your garage has one of these, you might be at risk for a break-in. There have been reports of garage break-ins around Fargo, especially in apartment complexes. Locksmiths say anyone with a basic tool set can get into a garage that has a key switch. They also tell us the biggest problem with these switches is that a lot of the time they aren't properly installed. And they say if you can see the screws on the outside of the switch, that's probably a bad sign.
The best thing that you can do is make sure that the wire from the inside of the garage is stapled tight or secured, so if they do pull that key switch off, they just can't touch the two wires together.
Jeremy Hafes has been working on garages for 19 years and says that taking the electrical component out of it is the best thing you can do.
The keypads are safer, yeah, because if you break the keypad off, there's nothing behind it. They're not going to get in.
Some apartment complexes in the area are making the change from switches to keypads and padlocks. And if you are worried about security, Hafes offers one more solution.
The new apartments have dividing walls that go all the way up, so if they break into one, they're only getting into one. The older apartments, if they break into one of them, they can just hop the wall and go over from stall to stall.
And Hafes says not only do the dividing walls help prevent theft, they can also help with fire and flood damage. Even though there are a lot of good ways to minimize break-ins, locks are only going to keep the honest people out, and it's a good idea to avoid storing valuables in your garage. In Fargo, Courtney Lockie, Valley News Live.
And keep in mind, underground parking is another safe way to protect yourself from theft, as well as having a garage in a well-lit area. The University of Nevada says a utilities accident caused an explosion at a dorm on campus today. The explosion was first reported around 1 this afternoon. Authorities say at least 3 people suffered minor injuries. Police also say no students were believed to be inside the dorms, but they are still searching as a precaution. Officials canceled classes and told employees to go home following the explosion. That dorm houses up to 750 people. A Tennessee sheriff's office is investigating after 4 people have been bitten recently while they were taking selfies with a zebra on private property. Zebras are known to be a bit aggressive. Just ask Michaela Napier, who was visiting a farm. When Napier pet the zebra, she says it nipped at her, so she stopped. Then she went to pose for a picture, and that's when the zebra grabbed her. She says her friend punched the zebra in the nose and got it to release her. After spending 7 hours at a hospital, Napier got a tetanus shot.
It latched onto me and it picked me up and slammed me down and picked me up and slammed me down and picked me up and slammed me down. And the only thing that I could think of was, this is how I'm going to die. I really thought that it was going to kill me.
She says when she returned to the farm on Wednesday, a new sign had been put up saying to not feed or pet the animals. The zebra and other animals are behind a fence on private property. Meanwhile, the city of Fargo logged 86 complaints from last night's fireworks. And while many may laugh at those who complain about fireworks on the 4th, some say it's no laughing matter. Many veterans suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder, saying the loud noises trigger stressful experiences from fighting for our country. One West Fargo veteran tells us he finds ways to avoid fireworks, though last nights in West Fargo were so long and loud he was woken up. Another veteran from Fargo says it's a very freedom to set off the fireworks he fought for.
They're proud of our country, and I am too, and I'm proud to, be associated with people that do that.
The VA and Veterans Outreach Center both have crisis hotlines, as well as programs you can reach out to. For more tips on dealing with PTSD, you can head to our website and click on this story. As of July 1st, North Dakota's cybersecurity is moving toward a unified approach, and ITD Director Sean Riley says they'll be able to show results quickly. The legislator moved forward with a partial unification of the state's IT systems. Riley says this should increase efficiency by 15 to 21% after 4 years of total unification. 250,000 people use North Dakota's computer networks every day, and Riley says past inefficiencies put data at risk.
All of us cannot defend ourselves individually. However, all of us together can make a huge inroads going forward.
In September 2018, North Dakota's IT department says hackers, including ones from North Korea, infected 1/3 of North Dakota schools with malware.
Valley News Live 10 at 10 continues with no wait weather.
Well, the fireworks just keep going tonight, courtesy of the Red Hawks at Newman Outdoor Field. There's Hector International in the distance. A gorgeous evening. In fact, temperatures rose to their high for the day. In the early evening, we managed to get up into those lower 70s. Here's a look at your current conditions. It's 69 degrees. Wind is from the west at only 6 miles per hour. 60 is that dew point, and temperatures across the region generally in those 60s, with the exception of you in Bemidji. It's 58 there, 66 in both Detroit Lakes and Fergus Falls, as we're on our way to some fairly comfortably cool overnight temperatures. Scattered showers finally vacated the region. They're exiting the Minneapolis area as well. We have spotty showers and thunderstorms out into the western Dakotas, and a look out towards Minneapolis. Some very heavy rains causing flash flooding in portions of southeastern Minnesota. A few showers and thunderstorms losing their punch as they head towards Pierre in South Dakota's capital. Here's your hour-by-hour forecast. Overnight tonight, very quiet. We could see some clouds once again, mainly in our southern and western counties. Because of those clouds, we could have a few showers out there to start your day tomorrow. It does look like we'll see temperatures in those low 50s along the international border, ranging to the low 60s in the far south. Now, as we go through our Saturday, we'll have a north wind around 5 to 15 miles per hour. That's a cool flow, and temperatures at midday will be right near 70 degrees, with still those lingering clouds in our southern and western counties. Those could be lingering for much of the day, but in Lakes Country, in the Northern Valley, the afternoon sun will go to work. It will be below average and in many places cooler than it was today, but by and large, a very quiet day of weather across the region to start our weekend off. Here's a look at your planner in Fargo-Moorhead. 59 to start. We'll see temperatures rising up into the mid-70s for our afternoon. And it looks warmer in the Grand Forks area. Also, we'll see some warmth down in the Southern Valley in the upper 70s, but pretty much everyone in those 70s for your afternoon. A lot of bubbling clouds in the skies as we went through this past week, and Sarah captured these developing cumulus clouds. There's a tower or an updraft there, and then one behind me as well. Some great photos shared by you with us. Here's a look at your planning forecast. We talked about Sunday, and Sunday looks very quiet. Cannot rule out a spotty shower, but Fargo should stay dry. 81 degrees as we get back to normal. Temperatures rise to above average as we go into Monday and Tuesday, but our storm chances increase as well, particularly late in the afternoon on Monday into Tuesday morning. Some of those storms could be strong. They'll exit the region as we go into Tuesday night, and it does look like, well, we cool off midweek, but temperatures, well, they rebound nicely. Back in the 80s Thursday and near 90 for some on Friday.
So a nice little break from those storms on Sunday, it looks like.
A break from the storms, a break from the heat and humidity, and if you really like the heat, it's on its way back.
It'll be back.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Hutch. The 4th of July is over, but a lot of you still have fireworks to burn. More tips on how to stay safe later on Valley News Live at 10.